Hello and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world, one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing, a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. But I am still on the Zettelkasten. And this is the second Zettelkasten Clinic episode. This question comes from Marcos, and he's saying, "Help, my bib cards are too long." Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of my theory first, and then we'll go over to the down-facing camera and we'll look at some bib cards. I have a very strong belief about bib cards, and I'm a little bit off in left field. So I need to let you know that what I'm telling you is not what you're going to read in Scott Shepard's book, and it may not be what you've heard from other people either. This is my viewpoint, and I'm going to share it rather directly with you because I've come to this through work and through experience, through using my Zettelkasten for 2.5 years to produce a 35-week course, to write a book, and now I'm also teaching all of these Zettelkasten courses. These things come out of my Zettelkasten, and it's been very, very functional for me. So I want to share what I do and what I believe. But I have to warn you straight off that I am not super mainstream when it comes to my bib cards. So don't be thinking that you're getting the consensus view. This is my view. Okay, I have a strong feeling about bib cards. I like taking notes on bib cards. The only time I won't is if it's a foundational book in a brand new field, and I'm going to be taking so many notes that it would be counterproductive to put them on a bib card. But otherwise, if I am reading a book, then that's by definition, it's not foundational, it's fill-in for me. And so I may read sections of it very fast. I might skip over sections if my purpose in reading the book, and remember, I always like to include my purpose in reading the book on my bib card before I start reading, because that really affects how I read the book, so that I don't get off in la-la land when my purpose was something different. So that will narrow the bib cards a little bit. But from that point, my feeling is that if it's something that's new to me, then it goes on the bib card. And I don't mind. I will make many, many notes. I don't have any problem with creating multiple bib cards for a single source. And I like to write chunky notes because what I put down, I want to be able to get the gist of what the book said directly from the bib card without having to go back to the book, except in rare circumstances. I know there are others who go the absolute opposite. They put the page number down and then maybe one word. And they say, oh, if I need to know more about that one word, I'm going to go back to the book and read that page again. Maybe it's because my library is spread out all over my house, a little bit here, a little bit there, wherever I can wedge some books in. And they aren't terribly well organized. And I'm also capable of looking across the shelf and looking right past the book I want until like the fourth pass. So I don't like jumping up and trying to find a book. That's part of it. But another part of it is that I find that if I can take the bib notes from a book that I've read, I can effectively bring that entire book back by occasionally reading all my bib notes. And that is extremely valuable because it can keep a book that may have taken a fair amount of time to read and refresh it very, very quickly. So I believe in lots of bib notes, and I believe in chunky bib notes. So I have to warn you, Marcus, if your bib cards are too long, you're probably only going to get support and encouragement from me. So I probably won't be asking you to repair anything around that. But that said, even though I make copious bib notes, even though I make large bib notes, I am selective about what goes off of the bib cards onto a main card. And here's why. If it's a factoid, leave it on the bib card. That's my belief. Because if it's the ideas that are exciting, the ideas are what make sense. I can have something in a bib note, and if just like, whoa, it lights up my brain. Whoa, that's not just new, that's whoa. That's what I want to capture onto a main card. I want those things that are just going to light up my brain. Because when I do that, and when I make my main card properly, which means author material, my response, the tagline, which is a memory prompt phrase, and the source, then that having all of that is the only thing I want to have for that are those ideas that light up my mind. And furthermore, rereading that idea will drag along with it all those factoids that I left on the bib card, because the excitement of the idea will bring back the supporting data. And if it doesn't bring back every little figure and I'm putting it into something and I want the numbers, there's the page number right there on my main card that'll get me back to the bib card, and then I can flip very quickly through the bib cards. And um, there you go. I'll be able to get back to the specific fact. So my selectivity is in what comes off the bib card into the main card, because I want those conversations going, because it's the conversations that give you energy, gives you insights, help you understand things more deeply. All the reasons why you read and keep a Zettelkasten in the first place can all be nailed down into those conversations. Okay, so with that said, let's go take a look at a couple of bib cards. Okay, here's my bib box, and there are some out cards because I've pulled a few pieces out of this box to share with you. I've got a fairly large number of bib cards, in part because I've had the Zettelkasten for a number of years, and in part because I tend to take copious notes. I'm going to start with the one that I've mentioned on several occasions, where I have said that the book by Zettelkasten, The Intellectual Life, had the record for the most bib cards from a single source. And that went all the way to bib card number 23. And as you can see from the back, here's all the notes. You can see that I take big, long, chunky notes. This is each is a different page number. I indicate when a card becomes a main card, it gets marked with this red underline, and then I indicate whereabouts it got filed. Now, this was one of my first books that I did, and you'll notice my card numbers are a little strange. How am I giving two card numbers to the same note? Well, back then, I didn't have my card numbering down quite right, and I was using a system that I called clumps and dividers. And so, and one M would have been a clump, and the main cards would have dropped in there for later division into smaller and smaller groups as the group arose. That turned out to be a bit of a disaster, so I'm not going to describe in any greater detail what that system was, but that explains why I had two cards with the same number. So in my bib cards, I always include the source. I include where it's going, the address where it's going, and the red line indicates that it was selected. Here you can see just about every bib note made it to a main note. However, it turns out that was not the largest from a single source. I was involved from late October of 2022 till early May of 2023 with a course program, and I ended up taking all of these bib cards from that course. But that was a whole course. That went up to 32 cards. And when you come back here, what I found was I was making a main card a day from these, not so much from each note. And so that actually really took the record. If I talk about something that's more typical, here's one that's 2 cards long. This is from a video by Haley Renee, How to Create, Use, and Manage Smart Lists in Greenland. It's a tutorial video in the knowledge base area of Greenland. And so I have my card reference, I have my notes, and in this instance, only 2 references made it onto, only 2 references, one on each of the cards, actually made it to main cards. And this is a real clear example of a situation where if it's just a factoid, leave it on the main card. I want ideas. Pardon me. If it's just a factoid, leave it on the bib card. I want ideas in my Zettelkasten, not factoids. And I've got one more to share with you because it has a new practice. I've been working on this book, and if you've been involved with my podcast for long, I've mentioned it several times, Character Strengths and Virtues. I'm moving through it very slowly. It's kind of background reading for me. But even being background reading, I am already up to, I think, card 13 or 14. Yes, card 13. Now, what's interesting about this one is I've developed a new practice that I have never had before. On this side are all of my notes on my bib card are on this side. Only one made it to a main card because the rest turned out to mostly be factoids. But on the front side, I've added a summary of what's on the back side. Likewise here, by having this summary, when I'm flipping through my cards looking for something, I can check the summary on front and know that, yes, that's the card that covered what I was interested in. And here, again, you can see that there was only one main card that came out of this. So Marcos, I hope that helps. I'm not offering to make a repair job there because I think depending on what you put on your bib cards, just the sheer length alone is not an indication of a problem in my belief structure. And go for the ideas, leave the factoids behind, and have a joyous Zettelkasten. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.